my name is Omer. I'm about 6 months old at DDN. I focus on product and engineering. Today I'm just going to be taking you through a few key themes that we're going to be talking about across 2026 and some of the new innovations that we're going to be bringing about. As sort of you saw through the course of the presentation, the core innovations at DDN are mainly focused around AI native companies. Here we're developing a lot of SDKs in order to give you native integrations with training frameworks, inference frameworks, and data prep frameworks so that you can get the protocol stack out of the way and start to work directly with our data plane. In addition to that, we're going to be focusing across 2026 a lot on new cloud providers. These are NVIDIA Cloud Providers that have loads and loads of NVIDIA chipsets and are renting it out to different customers. For these NVIDIA Cloud Providers, we provide a full suite of multi-tenancy capabilities that allows these cloud providers to essentially maximize their margin, because natively from the storage stack and the data layer, they can get a lot of benefit on a per tenant basis by providing security, key management, tenant protection across different tenants. So it's easy to isolate workloads as we go across. Then, as you saw earlier on, there were a lot of announcements from Alex and Paul around sovereign AI stacks and enterprise AI stacks. So we provide you vertically integrated stacks which allow you to do sovereign AI implementations across the board. So these are also available as air-gapped solutions. So you can have AI factories which are fully vertically integrated between NVIDIA, the data layer, and then we wrap them around in an orchestration layer as well for customers to quickly get started and off the ground. So with that, this is a sort of a bottoms-up view of where we sit in the customers and the AI data stack from a user's perspective. So bottoms up, we sit right underneath the NVIDIA compute layer. We are the data layer for the entire software stack as you look at it from the top to bottom. In addition to that, the platform has the two capabilities that Alex and Paul were talking about from an EXAScaler perspective and Infinia perspective. These are the two data layers that are optimized for training and inference respectively. Infinia at the same time also provides you a single unified data layer across your AI training pipeline. In addition to that, we're also talking about DDN Horizon, which is an all across the board orchestration framework that allows you to sort of generate self-service pipelines, self-service compute and storage environments inside your computing environments. And then on top of that, you can have custom integrations with training frameworks, you can have custom integrations with inference frameworks, and together we also publish AI stack reference architectures for you to build pipelines on top of this infrastructure. So currently the demo that Moise gave you is an example of how customers can quickly get started with a financial services pipeline. It's a reference architecture that we published using our stack so that you can sort of use this GitHub repository and quickly get started in the financial world. In addition to that, we have pipelines and reference architecture stacks that can allow you to get started in biomedical and life sciences as well. So if you break up the capabilities that we bring to the table, so at the bottom of the layer, what you have are DDN EXAScaler platform. This is a high-speed training platform, essentially a parallel file system, which is productized from DDN and is one of the gold standards for training across the industry. In addition to that, at the beginning of the year, we also introduced DDN Infinia platform. It's a single unified data layer, but one of the key things it allows you to do is optimize for high-speed inferencing. Now, we wrap all of these capabilities around in the DDN control plane, which is what we call DDN Horizon. DDN Horizon allows you to build services on top of a AI stack by virtualizing GPUs, by virtualizing CPUs, and tying in the relevant storage. This allows you to get started with AI very, very quickly so that you don't have to worry about bare metal GPUs being wasted, and you can have orchestration layers built in from bottoms up with DDN. Now you can use the control plane to build storage as a service, you can build training as a service, inference as a service on top of that, and in addition to that, you can also build your own applications on top of the orchestration layer in order to allow your customers to get started very, very quickly with the stack. So DDN Horizon it's essentially a fully self-service architecture that allows you to drive orchestration straight from CPU, GPU, tie-in storage, built-in multi-tenancy, built-in microsegmenting, built-in network tenancy across the entire stack. So for an AI user or for an NVIDIA Cloud Provider, or anytime you buy an AI factory or a DDN Hyperpod, which is a turnkey reference architecture stack in your data center, what DDN Horizon allows you to do is to get started very, very quickly by wrapping the GPUs through a virtualization layer together, which can allow you to use GPU as a service, which can allow you to use CPU as a service, and then you can build in orchestrate storage along with that, and then orchestrate that across all the way up to the application layer. It also allows you to do lifecycle management. So if, for example, a GPU is broken, it can quickly report those errors, so you can take it offline. While you do that service, it can shift the workload to other GPUs. And so this is basically, it allows you to build composable solutions in your environment. So from a bottoms-up view, the orchestration layer in its infancy, as we've released it, we're going to continue to build it across the year. But as we've released it, what it allows you to do is it'll take your bare metal GPUs, because up till now, one of the biggest challenges when we work with NVIDIA Cloud Providers is they offer raw bare metal GPUs as blocks of services to different customers. And then it's up to the customer how they're going to use those GPUs. This is essentially a very margin declining business for an NCP, or even if you're a private enterprise or if you're implementing a sovereign AI cloud, there are not a lot of services that are available for you to orchestrate across the GPU stack alongside CPUs and your storage altogether. What Horizon allows you to do is wrap all of these things together and allocate services and allow different workloads and different services to point where you are going to place your jobs on top of those GPUs and virtualize them across the board. This allows for very, very simple tenant onboarding. It allows for you to segregate these workloads very, very quickly. So when you incorporate this with the QoS, multi-tenancy, and security capabilities of the DDN data layer, it can give you a vertically integrated environment which you can give to different users and providers at any given amount of time. We've also gone ahead and integrated billing and metering into it. So you can add your own self-service costs in there, and then you can charge either different departments, or you can also integrate with various different payment gateways to charge back to your end customers, which are going to be using you from a customer's perspective or an end user perspective. So a typical multi-tenant environment in NCP or in private environment would look something like this, where you would have individual tenants all operating on either single AI factory vertical stack, or in a data center full of GPUs and with DDN data layer and orchestration layer operational at the same time. What the layer allows you to do on a per tenant based authentication, you can do access control, you can apply different encryption and key management policies on a different tenant basis, and then you can also allow different controlled API accesses across the stack in your environment. What this can allow you to do at the end of the day is to sort of very quickly onboard tenants, because typically in an NCP environment, NeoCloud environment, or in a private customer's environment, typically an AI control plane is not available. This very quickly closes the gap. You know, if you look at a hyperscaler environment, for example, AWS or GCP, they come in with a complete control plane in order to be able to self-service on a per tenant basis as they onboard workloads in an AI cluster. This is now provided out of the box as part of DDN Horizon for customers who, especially in the NeoCloud world or in the private AI world. So from a customer perspective, what does it look like? Each tenant can get a self-service window into their workloads. But from a provider's perspective, from an admin's perspective, you have a single customer, you have a single cluster, which can serve up to 10,000 tenants, and that's the granularity of the multi-tenancy that is made available within the system. In addition to that, you can have different performance tiers from a hybrid perspective or an all-flash perspective, and each of your tenants can be exposed these capabilities without you needing to upgrade a cluster per tenant at any time. In addition to that, we also have DDN Infinia, which is now this year going to have significant enhancements from a quality of service perspective and also from an SDK development perspective. DDN Infinia currently supports S3 protocol access. We're also developing POSIX, which is a parallel file system on top of it. So now you can have a single layer across your entire AI training pipeline. In addition, later on this year, we're planning to work on direct native SQL access to this platform as well, because essentially at the end of the day, what DDN Infinia is, it's a key value store. It's a distributed key value store on top of which we've developed access layers like S3, POSIX, SQL, and then we're also developing an SDK. The reason to develop an SDK is especially for our AI native customers, where they can completely bypass the overhead of the protocol stack from a POSIX perspective or an S3 perspective and get native access to data underneath and basically optimize it however they want to use it. This allows the customer to keep the platform extremely programmable, and it also allows for enhanced integration with frameworks like PyTorch or any particular training frameworks of customer's choice, and also like KV cache integrations if the customer wants it. So the themes, the anchor themes, as you can clearly tell for the year 2026, is mainly focused around multi-tenancy, so that each tenant, so that your margins are improved across as you're implementing AI stacks, allowing you to move from bare metal GPUs to even also virtualized GPUs so that you can drive maximum throughput on a per customer basis. In addition to that, we're also going to be working very closely with our customers to bring in software-defined exascalers. Up till now, exascalers have been available as vertically integrated appliances, which operate, which have set the bar for training across the world. One of the main complaints around exascalers has been around rack resilience. So software-defined exascaler, which is also, as Paul mentioned, one of the primary training services running in our partnership with the GCP Cloud, is our first software-defined offering. So the goal is to bring it to the market as well. And the last thing that I'll mention are KV cache fabric integration, which is right now being demoed at the DDN booth. One of the key advantages is by integrating directly with and publishing the NIXL plugin, what we've been able to do is we've been able to bypass the protocol stack, directly program the KV cache integration through our SDK into the Infinia framework. And so far, the results are pretty encouraging, about 65% reduction in time to first token. And one of the key things is about 42% reduction in time between tokens. So what this has allowed to do is very effectively run longer memory context, longer context on Infinia-based systems for our customers. So across the year 2026, the key main themes, again, in conclusion, I would say is we're focused incredibly on orchestration and making it simpler to consume AI. So, through DDN Horizon, providing you with a framework which is directly integrated with our data framework to give you GPU as a service, CPU as a service, and full tenant, full customer first lifecycle management and self-provisioning. In order to that, from a bottoms data layer perspective, QoS-based integration directly into the and having multi-tenancy frameworks fully vertically integrated between CPU as a service, GPU as a service, all the way down to storage as a service from a integration perspective. And last but not the least, a lot of focus on SDK development and programmability so that customers can take native advantage of the data layers that are available with Infinia. So with that, I will pass it back to Jason.